Hello friends, I am here Professor Smita Jha from the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences under the banner Research Methodology in Humanities and Social Sciences, and today I am going to discuss how to develop papers. You know that papers are very important for a good career and good placement as well if you are in academics and if you are pursuing your research. So developing a paper is really a challenging task. Now, a research paper, first we have to understand what is a research paper. So, a research paper is a piece of academic writing that provides analysis, interpretation and argument based on in-depth independent research. Research papers are similar to academic essays, but they are usually longer and more detailed assignments designed to assess your writing skills and scholarly research skills. Writing a research paper requires you to demonstrate a strong knowledge of your topic, engage with various sources, and make an original contribution to the debate. A research paper presents your own interpretation, evaluation, or argument on a specific topic. It involves conducting extensive research and preparing a methodical analysis of your sources to articulate a compelling argument or present new insight. The process of writing a research paper begins with choosing a topic before then conducting thorough research into that topic. To structure your paper, you should familiarize yourself with a research paper format, which typically includes an introduction, literature review, methodology findings, and conclusions. A good research paper also includes an abstract, a concise summary of the paper's content, and the use of accurate references, which are fundamental to communicating the credibility of your research. Writing a research paper offers an opportunity to delve deeply into a topic that fascinates you and your contribute to the academic conversation. Now, read on to learn everything you need to know. Understanding the assignment. If your research paper is being written for your university course, the first thing you need to do is to clarify the requirements and expectations for your paper. Begin by making sure you understand the scope of the assignment. Revisit the course material, pay attention to the word count. Familiarize yourself with the required format and be mindful of deadline to manage your time effectively. Remember, a clear understanding of what is expected will help pave the way for a successful research paper. Next, choosing a research topic. Very challenging. You should carefully choose your research topic. Start by aligning your own interests with the requirements of your assignment. A topic that fascinates you will make the research process more engaging. Make sure that your topic is relevant to your field of study and consider its feasibility. For example, can you collect enough data or read enough information within the given time frame? You should also aim for originality. Seek an angle that offers fresh insights or a new perspective on established knowledge in your discipline. Now, conducting background research. Once you have chosen your research topic, it's time to do some initial research to deepen your understanding of this topic. This initial research phase helps form a solid foundation for your paper, guiding your argument or thesis. It's also an opportunity to discover various perspectives and theories related to your topic. This kind of comprehensive background research is a key to crafting a well-informed, insightful paper. Utilize credible resources like online database, academic journals, and books from your university library to ensure your research is accurate and reliable. At the heart of writing a research paper is developing a robust thesis statement. A thesis statement presents the central argument or purpose of your paper, and this should be clear, concise, and specific. Your thesis statement guides the direction of your research, ensuring that every element of your paper aligns with the support. This central idea to craft a strong thesis statement start by condensing your main argument or observation into one or two sentences. It should not only state your position but also give a hint of how you will be arguing in its favor. Creating an outline. Once you are clear on your thesis statement, the next step is to create an outline. This helps to organize your thoughts and will make the drafting process easier. Begin by writing down the main points you will cover in your introduction, body paragraph, and conclusion. Your outline should reflect the logical flow of your argument, with each point leading smoothly to the text. A well-planned outline will both help keep your writing focused but also ensure you cover all necessary aspects of your topic. The introduction of your paper, which is very important, is really a very important part of the whole writing. It's what will capture the reader's attention, set the tone for your paper, and tell the reader what to expect. So, how do you write an introduction for a research paper? To write an engaging introduction, start with a hook, a fact, question, or a statement that piques curiosity and introduces the topic of the paper. Then smoothly transition to your thesis statement, providing a snapshot of your central argument. You should then briefly outline the structure of your paper, guiding the reader through the arguments you plan to explore. By this point, you should have a clear idea of your central argument, an outline of the argument you will be putting forward, and a compelling introduction. The next stage is to carry out the in-depth research that will allow you to turn this into a substantial paper. This process involves meticulously gathering information to support your thesis statement. Depending on your subject, this could involve reading academic journals, books, and reputable websites, conducting data collection or lab work, or a combination of these. Writing the conclusion, again, very important part. Knowing how to write a conclusion for a research paper will leave the reader with a clear understanding of your paper's importance and a lasting impression of your work. The conclusion summarizes the main points of your paper and restates the thesis statement, reinforcing the argument you have presented. It's your final opportunity to make an impact on the reader. Editing and proofreading are crucial steps to writing a successful research paper. This stage is all about refining your work to enhance its quality. Start by revising the content for a structure and flow, ensuring each argument is clearly presented and logically follows from the last. Pay attention to grammar and spelling errors. These can distract readers and undermine the professionalism of your paper. Before submitting your work, it's important to understand how to write references for a research paper. Accurate citations not only acknowledge the work of others, but also safeguard against plagiarism, a serious academic offense. Make sure you know the citation style your university follows, or check the guidance of the journal you are planning to submit to. You should then ensure every source you refer to in your paper is correctly cited, both in text and in the bibliography. Adhering to the specific formatting guidelines provided by your academic institution or the journal you are submitting to is essential. Key elements of formatting include choosing an appropriate font style and size, ensuring your margins are uniform, using headings and subheadings to structure your content effectively, and adding page numbering for easy navigation. Finalizing the research paper. Before submission, ensure you have completed these essential tasks. First, review your paper as a whole, making sure it flows logically from introduction to conclusion. Check that your thesis statement is clearly articulated and supported throughout. Confirm that all sources are accurately cited and your bibliography is formatted correctly. Double check for any grammatical or spelling errors. Finally, verify that the paper meets all the specified requirements including word count and formatting. A thorough final review can make all the difference, ensuring your research paper is polished and ready for submission. Now, the way you should format your research paper depends on which style guide you are following. Different research journals follow specific style guides that dictate things like font choice, page layout, headings, and other formatting guidelines. Even if your paper is just being submitted for class, you will likely still be expected to follow a certain style guide to help you get familiar with these. Two of the most commonly followed research paper formats are APA and MLA. So, we have outlined more information about their formatting requirements. The APA research paper format is commonly used in the sciences, social sciences, and some empirical studies and requires a specific formatting. First, select a standard font like 12 point times New Roman or 11.8 Arial. Second, set your page margin to 1 inch on all sides. Third, use double line spacing throughout. Fourth, start each new paragraph with half-inch indent. The title page, abstract, references, tables, and figures should each be on separate pages. If your paper is intended for publication, remember to insert an APA running head on every page. The MLA Modern Language Association research paper format is widely used for research papers in literature, arts, and other humanities fields. To format a research paper to MLA style guidelines, choose an easy to read font like Times New Roman font. 12. Set your document with 1 inch margin on all sides. Use double line spacing throughout the text. Each new paragraph should start with a half-inch indent. Use title case capitalization for headings. It's important to note that MLA format does not require a separate title page or an abstract unlike APA. So, how to begin writing? To begin to write a research paper, first select the research topic that matches your interest or part of your thesis. You should then conduct initial research into the subject and create an outline for the paper. Begin your paper with an engaging introduction that sets the scene for your research and clearly outlines the aim and purpose of your study. So, how long should a research paper be? Well, this is a very good question. The length of the research paper will vary depending on the guidelines from your instructor or the academic journal you are submitting to. Generally, it is about 6K to 8K word. A typical research paper is structured into 5 main sections: the introduction, which introduces the topic; the literature review, which provide background and context; the methodology, detailing how the research was conducted; the results or finding, presenting the data collected; and finally, the conclusion, summarizing the study and its implications. Bear in mind that specific structures can vary based on academic disciplines or journal guideline. Now, effective steps for writing a research paper, you must know. The first, topic selection and research. Start by selecting a topic, but keep it broad initially. It's easier to find research to support a thesis rather than the other way around. Find 2 reputable articles or books related to your topic. Use scholarly resources like scholar.google.com. No need to overwhelm yourself with numerous sources. Just focus on finding as many articles as those to reference in their bibliography works cited. This way, much of the groundwork is already done for you. highlighting relevant information. Read through your chosen articles and highlight every sentence that relates to your topic, no matter how loosely. If you encounter quotes from other articles, delve into the referenced article for additional insight. Don't worry about lengthy articles, focus on relevant content. Type up all highlighted quotes and add citations as you go. Group the quotes based on emerging pattern such as vague, specific, contradictory, or by themes like music, literature, or movies. Create bullet points for each group, focusing on capturing the essence rather than making it sound polished at this stage. Under each quote, add brief notes on why it is important. If you have more than 3 quotes for a topic, consider subdividing them for clarity. Summarize each section with a simple conclusion outlining your findings. Then rewrite your bullet points into coherent sentences. Each main point becomes a new paragraph combining everything into cohesive paragraph. Write a captivating introduction, starting with a vague statement and ending with a specific one to lead into your paper. Your conclusion should mirror this pattern, starting with a specific sentence and ending vaguely to leave the reader with something to ponder. You can also take help from Blaney for editing purposes. Some softwares are there. For instance, let us consider the topic, the influence of blue. Begin the intro with a statement like, "The color blue captivates with its timeless allure, permeating various aspects of life." Follow up with paragraphs exploring its significance in pop culture, business, and beyond. Conclude by emphasizing blue's dominance across different fields, whether it is music, literature, home goods, or cars. Blue reigns supreme, evoking emotions and enriching experiences. Its pervasive presence underscores its status as the quintessential color, inspiring joy and contentment. What should be included in the research paper introduction is decided by what you want to tell readers about the reason behind the research and how you plan to fill the knowledge gap. The best research paper introduction provides a systematic review of existing work and demonstrate additional work that needs to be done. It needs to be brief, captivating, and well referenced. A well-drafted research paper introduction will help the researcher with the battle. The introduction for a research paper is where you set up your topic and approach for the reader. It has several key goals. Present your research topic, capture reader interest, summarize existing research, position your own approach, define your specific research problem and problem statement, highlight the novelty and contributions of the study. Give an overview of the paper's structure. What is the introduction for a research paper? The introduction in a research paper is placed at the beginning to guide the reader from a broad subject area to the specific topic that your research addresses. They present these information to the reader: a scope, the topic covered in the research paper; context, background of your topic; importance, why your research matters in that particular area of research and the industry problem that can be targeted. Why is the introduction important in a research paper? The research paper introduction conveys a lot of information and can be considered an essential roadmap for the rest of your paper. A good introduction for a research paper is important for this reason. It stimulates your readers' interest. A good introduction section can make your readers want to read your paper by capturing their interest. It informs the reader what they are going to learn and helps determine if the topic is of interest to them. It helps the reader understand the research background. Without a clear introduction, your readers may feel confused and even struggle when reading your paper. A good Research paper introduction will prepare them for the in-depth research to come. It provides you the opportunity to engage with the readers and demonstrate your knowledge and authority on their specific topic. It explains why your research paper is worth reading. Your introduction can convey a lot of information to your readers. It introduces the topic, why the topic is important, and how you plan to proceed with your research. It helps guide the reader through the rest of the paper. The research paper introduction gives the reader a sense of the nature of the information that will support your arguments and the general organization of the paragraphs that will follow. What are the parts of introduction in the research? A good research paper introduction section should comprise three main elements. What is known? Now, this sets the stage for your research. That is, what is known. It informs the reader of what is known on the subject, what is lacking. This is aimed at justifying the reason for carrying out your research. This could involve investigating a new concept building upon previous research. What you aim to do. This part briefly states the objectives of your research and its major contributions. Your detailed hypothesis will also form a part of this section. How to write a research paper introduction. The first step in writing the research paper introduction is to inform the reader what your topic is and why it is interesting or important. This is generally accomplished with a strong opening statement. The second step involves establishing the kinds of research that have been done and ending with limitations or gaps in the research that you intend to address. Finally, the research paper introduction clarifies how your own research fits it in and what problem it addresses. If your research involved testing hypotheses, these should be started along with your research question. The hypothesis should be presented in the past tense since it will have been tested by the time you are writing the research paper introduction. Now, determine a research niche. Reveal a gap in existing research or oppose an existing assumption. Formulate the research question. Example, there have been plausible efforts to integrate educational activities in higher education, electronics, engineering programs. However, very few studies have considered using educational research methods for performance evaluation of competency-based higher engineering education with a focus on technical and transversal skills. To remedy the current need for evaluating competencies in STEM fills the providing sustainable development goals in engineering education. In this study, a comparison was drawn between study groups without and with industry partner. Place your research within the research niche. State the purpose of your study. Highlight the key characteristics of your study. Describe important results. Highlight the novelty of the study. Offer a brief overview of the structure of the paper. The study evaluates the main competency needed in the applied electronic course, which is a fundamental core subject. For many electronic engineering undergraduate program, we compare two groups, without and with an industrial partner, and offered real-world projects to solve during the semester. Conduct preliminary research. Commence your research early as the term research paper implies a need for timely investigation. To refine your chosen topic and formulate a solid thesis statement, it is imperative to explore existing research on your subject promptly. This initial research phase serves to dispel any misconception you might have about the topic and unveils optimal paths and approaches for acquiring more material. Sources can typically be found online or in library. When conducting online searches, ensure the use of reputable sources such as science journals or academic paper. Some search engines detailed in the Tools and Resources section, enable the exclusive exploration of accredited sources and academic databases. Maintain awareness of the distinction between primary and secondary sources during your search. Primary sources like published articles or autobiographies offer first-hand accounts, while secondary sources such as critical reviews or second-hand biographies provide removed perspective. During the research gathering process, it is advisable to skim through sources rather than reading each one in full initially. If a source appears promising, set it aside for a thorough reading later. This approach prevents getting bogged down with sources that may not be ultimately utilized, allowing for more effective use of your time in discovering valuable sources. In certain instances, a literature review may be required to elucidate your sources and present them for validation by an authority. Even if a literature review is not mandatory, compiling an early list of potential sources proves helpful. This proactive approach becomes an asset at a later stage. Develop a thesis statement. Based on the insights gathered during your initial research, craft a thesis statement that succinctly encapsulates the essence of your research paper, typically serving as the opening sentence in your paper. The thesis statement serves as your reader's introduction to the topic. The thesis statement is integral to initiating a research paper and not only orients your reader but also aids other researchers in evaluating the utility of your paper for their own research. Similarly, examining the thesis statement of other research paper can assist you in gauging their relevance to your own work. An effective thesis statement encompasses all crucial aspects of the discussion without divulging excessive details. If articulating it proves challenging, consider framing your topic as a question and then providing an answer. For instance, if your research paper explores the impact of segregating a student with ADHD from their peers, you might pose the question: does separating a student with ADHD enhance their learning? The answer drawn from your preliminary research forms a solid foundation for your thesis statement. Many students inquire about the process of crafting a research paper outline, which holds greater significance for research paper steps compared to informal essays due to the need for a methodical and systematic structure. This ensures that all issues are addressed effectively. Begin by creating a list of essential categories and subtopics. A preliminary outline for your outline reflect on the information gathered during the compilation of supporting evidence and contemplate the optimal way to separate and categorize each element. Once you have identified the topics to be covered, consider the most effective order for presenting the information. Assess the relationship between subtopics and determine if any should be presented subsequently. If the information follows a straightforward timeline, adopting a chronological approach is suitable. Given the potential complexity of research paper, consider organizing your outline into paragraph. This not only facilitates organization when dealing with a substantial amount of information, but also provided better control over the paper's flow and direction. The next step is to conduct in-depth research. When embarking on the phase of conducting in-depth research for your chosen topic, it becomes imperative to delve beyond surface level information, aiming for a more profound understanding. This involves a meticulous exploration that goes beyond the basis, seeking to uncover nuanced details and unique perspective that contribute to the richness of your research paper. To begin with, the process entails gathering a wealth of comprehensive and specific information related to your topic. This may involve consulting a diverse range of sources, including academic articles, books, scholarly journals, and reputable online database. The goal is to accumulate a substantial body of knowledge that not only addresses the core element of your topic, but also provides intricate insights that add depth and complexity to your research. Moreover, evaluating the credibility of your source is crucial during this phase. Scrutinize the reliability of the authors, the publication outlets, and the methodology employed in the research, ensuring that your sources are trustworthy and authoritative enhances the overall quality and reliability of your research paper. An additional layer to this process involves considering the perspectives of different authors. Diverse viewpoints contribute to a well-rounded and comprehensive view of the subject matter. In summary, conducting in-depth research goes beyond merely scratching the surface. It involves a meticulous exploration of various sources, a critical assessment of their credibility, and a conscientious consideration of diverse perspectives. This comprehensive approach ensures that your research paper is not only well informed, but also contributes meaningfully to the existing body of knowledge on your chosen topic. Once you have completed your outline, the next step is to commence the actual writing of your research paper. Although this stage is notably the lengthiest and requires significant involvement, proper preparation of your sources, and the creation of a comprehensive outline should facilitate a smooth process. Grappling with how to compose an introduction for your research paper. Initiating with your previously crafted thesis statement becomes pivotal. Open your paper with the thesis statement and subsequently elaborate on the introduction by incorporating secondary information. The body section constitutes the substantial portion of your research paper. In contrast to the essays, research papers typically segment the body into sections, each with distinct headers to enhance readability and facilitate navigation. Utilize the division outlined in your initial plan as roadmap. Systematically follow your outline, addressing each paragraph in turn. Given that this is an initial draft, don't fret over achieving perfection in every word. Revision and refinement will come later. At this juncture, focus on articulating all pertinent points. In presence, it is acceptable to make error, as you will have the opportunity to rectify them during subsequent revision. Connecting paragraph cohesively, especially in longer works like research paper, can be a challenge. Employ transition sentence, particularly at the outset and conclusion of each paragraph to enhance the overall flow of your paper. Even after completing the body, understanding how to craft a conclusion for a research paper remains essential. Analogous to an essay conclusion, your research paper's conclusion should reiterate the thesis, recapitulate primary evidence, and summarize your findings for clarity. Avoid introducing new information in the conclusion. However, you can incorporate your personal perspective or interpretation to aid the reader's comprehensive of the overarching picture. The revising and editing phase is a critical component of the research paper writing process, demanding careful attention to detail and a commitment to refining your work for optional quality. Commence by subjecting your draft to a comprehensive review, focusing on clarity, coherence, and consistency. Ensure that your ideas are expressed clearly, following the reader to follow your arguments without confusion. assess the overall coherence of your paper, confirming that each paragraph logically connects to the preceding and succeeding ones. Consistency in tone, style, and formatting is paramount, creating a professional presentation. Conduct a meticulous examination for grammatical error, typos, punctuation mistakes. A grammatically sound paper enhances its credibility and readability. Additionally, verify that your citation adhere to the prescribed format, whether it is APA, MLA, Chicago, or another citation style. Consistent and accurate citation not only uphold academic integrity but also contribute to the overall professionalism of your paper. Adherence to formatting guideline is crucial in ensuring that your document meets the required standard. Confirm that your margins, font size, line spacing, and other formatting elements align with the specified requirements. To gain valuable insights and perspectives, seek feedback from peers or instructors. Another set of eyes can provide fresh perspectives on your work, pointing out areas that may require further clarification or improvement. Constructive feedback is instrumental in refining your paper and addressing any blind spots you might have overlooked. Now, following the feedback received, embark on making necessary revision to enhance the overall quality of your paper. This may involve restructuring sentences, rephrasing paragraph, refining your argumentation. Be diligent in addressing each aspect identified during the review and feedback process. To conclude, the revision and editing phase is a meticulous and iterative process that involves thorough examination of your paper's clarity, grammar, citation, adherence to formatting guideline. Integrating feedback and making targeted revision contribute to the refinement of your research paper, elevating it to a polished and professional standard. With this, I wrap up the discussion, and I am sure that you must have got some information and going to be benefited by this lecture, and you must apply whatever I have suggested. Till then, thank you.